So I'm sure that you've heard all the buzz about the importance of having multiple streams of income. But what if I told you that this is actually one of the most misunderstood concepts? And it can actually make you lose a lot of money. In today's video, I'm going to explain exactly what you should do to build wealth and the correct understanding of building multiple streams of income. So first, let's talk about what building multiple streams of income should actually mean. Now, while I have over 10 different streams of income in my businesses and different things that I do, I actually have also made huge mistakes along the way over the last 6 or 7 years of building those streams of income. And one thing that really pivoted my focus was something that I heard Alex Hormozi talk about, in that you hear a common phrase is that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income to their name. However, Alex has stated that most millionaires that exist out there did so by building one stream of income. They got themselves to a high financial status level, whether it's $1 million per year or maybe a little less, a little bit more. And then after they hit that point is when they were able to start adding these other streams of income to their portfolio, so to speak. And so I like to think about this, especially from a streams of income standpoint. I like to think about this as more of a river. So instead of having one river of income and then you try to build a completely separate river of income and a completely separate river over here to get to 7 that are all completely unrelated, it's much better to take one river of income where you have a good amount coming in and then start attaching smaller streams that kind of flow out from that bigger river that you've been building. And so it's really important not to venture into things that you're not specialized in. Now, I understand that many people will be like me, where you've got employment and you're trying to build a side hustle. And this side hustle is that river that you're trying to grow from. But some of you have many skills from your employment that you can use to build other streams of income over time. But that's going to generally be this other side hustle. So there's a different way to think about it. If you do have employment, a lot of times you will be building something completely separate over here, so that eventually when the employment goes away, then you can start building the streams off of this main one that you were working on before. So now that you have an understanding of what building multiple income streams actually means, I'm going to explain the following. First, how to get more streams of income. Second, the risks involved with doing that. And third, how to manage them effectively. So let's talk about how do we get more streams of income. If you're currently employed, as I said earlier, we've got that river, we've got an employment river. And this is when you need to start building that side hustle, that second river of income, or that second stream, however you want to look at it. This is going to be your main focus. What is the side hustle that you're going to focus on next to your employment that kind of helps support each other, but ultimately this is what you're hoping to get to as a full-time income? Now, if you're not employed already and you have this one side hustle / full-time business, then your focus on getting another income stream is to create that stream, that branch off of this main river of income, so that then you can start adding more and the river becomes bigger and bigger. For example, you do not want to have an Amazon business, a real estate business, a crypto investment, stock investments, and all of these other things. You'd be better off if you had an Amazon arbitrage business and then you started doing wholesale. And then you started doing private label. Maybe you do branded bundles. Maybe you start selling on other e-commerce websites such as Walmart or Etsy or eBay. Those are the types of things that support the main stream of income that you have. And so now that we've talked about how do we create these streams of income off of the one main one that is supporting us, let's talk about some of the risks of doing this. Whenever I first quit my job, I was scared that I was going to fail, because I quit my job and I just had Amazon as my stream of income, and that was all that was left. And so what I tried to do was create a bunch of other streams of income all at once, because I was trying to support myself and my family, but ultimately that ended up leading me to not having any success in my original stream of income. All the other things were kind of flailing along because I wasn't able to devote the proper time to it. And so the risk that you run is, as you are building these streams of income, you need to make sure that the one that is your main source, the main thing that you've built as your side hustle or your full-time business, you need to make sure that that's operating strongly, so that then you have the time to focus on adding all of these other things in. And so if you don't have systems and procedures and people in place to help you support that mainstream of income, it'll be very difficult to start adding in other things. And so I recommend that people focus on building up their mainstream, getting things outsourced and bolted down, so that if they were to leave the business, it would still run without them as much as possible. So that way, as you leave to focus on other wealth building activities, you now have the time and you have the ability to do so freely without worrying as much about your main source of income, and you can just start supporting that main stream with other streams that you're building out. The biggest risk that you run is that you spread yourself too thin, and it ends up becoming that you're overworked and not able to do everything. And so we need to make sure that you've got your first stream of income bolted down and supported properly, so that then you have the freedom and the ability to add in everything else that you need afterwards. And so now that you're building these things, let's say you've got your main stream bolted down, you're starting to add these other streams in. How do you manage these streams of income effectively? That's a large question that I get all the time from people. How do you do all this stuff? And I'm not going to get into time management. I've talked about time management in other videos on my YouTube channel, but ultimately what it comes down to is looking for streams of income that fully support your main one. And so from an example's sake, for Amazon arbitrage sellers, as I mentioned, you can easily add in wholesale because that's just buying in bulk. You could more easily start doing branded bundles because that's typically taking your arbitrage products and branding them with your own products and bundling them together with your own products to create your own listings. These are natural fits for you to start creating those other streams. Or as I mentioned, you can look at other platforms. Now, if you're somebody that owns a completely separate business and you're a plumber, well, you could look at, instead of residential plumbing, maybe you start adding in commercial plumbing. Maybe you work with other plumbing companies to help them optimize their systems and their business. Maybe there's a book that you could write. Maybe there's a podcast you could start. Maybe there's something that you can do to support your other plumbing activities, your business, that ultimately is a natural fit for you to start using your expertise for. There needs to be a point where you're focused on one thing and you start supporting that with these other streams of income after that. So in summary, now you know why you shouldn't just have a bunch of multiple streams of income that are completely unrelated to each other. As much as possible, try to avoid that, because it can really spread yourself thin and create a lack of results when you're trying to support getting as many streams of income that support one thing as possible. If you can do that and focus on your main stream of income and start adding in other things to it, you will see much better results than trying to do a bunch of separate things that are unrelated to each other. Now, if you have more questions about building more revenue streams or multiple streams of income, be sure to leave those in the comments down below. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to my channel, come out with more videos consistently each and every week. And so I hope this video helps you and blesses you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.